Hey everybody, it's Dr. Minette Riordan here with another adventure in Heartwise Parenting. It's Tuesday morning, and I said I was going to do this every day, Monday through Friday, but let me tell you why it didn't quite happen yesterday. It was a crazy day. I burnt the spaghetti sauce trying to do too much, had some great conversations, and learned that sixth graders only date over text. They don't actually talk to each other in person. So it was an insane, wonderful, fun day. My son got invited to audition for the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. He plays the bass. So a lot of interesting things were going on that had my mind all aflutter yesterday. But first, let me tell you about my lunch with my friend Kim. Remember last week I talked about how important it is to get out and have some play dates for ourselves. So she and I, at least once a month or every other month, make sure we go out to lunch together. We went to have pho, Vietnamese noodle soup. I love food. It's one of the things you probably don't know about me, or maybe you can tell by looking that I love to eat, but I especially love Asian food of all kind. The spicier, the better. So and it being cold, all this crazy cold, silly weather after last week's beautiful warm weather, I don't know what's up with that. I'm freezing today, but we definitely took the opportunity to go have a bowl of hot noodle soup. And we're doing like moms do. We're talking about our kids and what's going on, all the fun things they're doing, and yada, yada, yada. And she somehow we got onto the conversation of kids and phones and the fact that her daughter had lost her phone. Finally, she'd lost it multiple times, but they think maybe it's really misplaced this time, which brought up the fact that her daughter, who's in sixth grade, is dating a little boy who's also in the sixth grade. Little, he's probably not little. My son's not little. I know it's hard to remember that he's 12 already and they're growing up way too fast. And so we were lamenting all of this and talking about our kids growing up and all the things they're doing. And she said, and my daughter's going out with this boy, and it's been about a month. And I said, what does going out mean when you're in sixth grade? And she said, it doesn't really mean anything. It just they're not really going out. And on the way to school the other day, she asked her daughter. She said, "Hey, are you still going out with so and so?" And her daughter looks at her like, "Duh, mom, I lost my phone." And she looks at her daughter and she's like, kind of confused. And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Mom, I lost my phone. I don't know if we're still going out." So, long story short, she comes to find out that the only way that this little boy, this young man, and this young lady are communicating is via text on their phone. They're not actually talking to each other in person. Okay, so on the one hand, I want to laugh and say that's just so ridiculous. On the other hand, there's a little comfort and security in knowing that 12-year-olds aren't actually dating yet and that they're really just kind of talking about it and making the motion, but nothing's really happening. There's some security there for sure. But there's something to me really sad about the state of our children today, that they think it's perfectly acceptable to send a text to somebody and say, "Hey, want to go out?" And that their whole relationship is built through technology and not FaceTime with each other having real conversations. So my advice, my adventure in Heartwise Parenting today is to make sure you're modeling for your kids what it looks like to have real telephone conversations, to have real face-to-face conversations, not basing everything on text and email or even crazy YouTube videos like this one. My son was at a friend's house making YouTube videos the other day. Not sure how I feel about having my son up on YouTube, even though I'm talking about him. He'd be horribly embarrassed if he knew how much I talked about him. Fortunately, he doesn't watch parenting videos yet. But, it led to this whole conversation of what do I want for my children? What do I want for their relationships going forward in their life? And I want them to feel very comfortable having face to face conversations with adults, with other kids their own age, with members of the opposite sex. Yes, our kids are only 12, but before we know it, those relationships are going to start happening, and they need to know how to navigate those relationships. As Heartwise parents, we need to model for them what it looks like to have meaningful conversations. So how I burnt the spaghetti sauce, I had a crazy day yesterday. I had a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock, and a 4 o'clock. The 2 o'clock and the 3 o'clock were on the telephone. So being the crazy busy mom that I am, I thought, okay, I got home from my lunch at 1:30. I had about 30 minutes before my phone call, answered my emails, so put my headphones on, and I'm making spaghetti sauce while I'm having my conference call at 2 o'clock. And I get it all going and, open a couple of jars of sauce and cook the meat and added some veggies, did all this stuff, and then turned it down as low it would go and walked off and kind of forgot about it. Went to pick up my daughter at 2:45, walked back in the house and went, uh-oh, I could smell that the meat and the sauce, the tomato sauce, were burning on the bottom of the pan, which is wont to happen. It's an old stainless steel pan, but it's very thin on the bottom. probably not a great idea to leave the stove on while I was gone anyway, even though I was only gone for 10 minutes. But, I burnt the bottom of the spaghetti sauce. I caught it really quickly. Maggie and I scooped it out of the pan into another pan and managed to salvage most of it. Then I had my 3 o'clock conference call for 30 minutes, and I dashed out to get the other kid and bring him home and get them all settled. And my friend Cindy came over, and we had a 2 hour meeting that, we probably could have done in 30 minutes, but we hadn't seen each other in a while, had a lot to talk about. We're getting ready to do an audio recording of a marketing series that we've taught in the past, and I'm so excited about doing that. It's going to be so much fun. And of course, being girlfriends, we had to spend the first half hour chatting, catching up on our kids, figuring out what they're doing. She's at the stage where she's looking at colleges and filling out financial aid applications, all kinds of crazy things. There's a lot to talk about. So by the time my husband got home and he's hungry and it's 6:30 and dinner was only half done, I'm like, I almost got there today. I almost got it all done. Do you ever get to the end of the day and feel like you haven't got it all done? I don't even think I got to talk to my husband yesterday, and he's only been home a couple of days, and I am so happy to have him back this week. Anyway, adventures in Heartwise Parenting. My tip today: schedule time to get everything done. Don't make yourself crazy like I do, and make sure you're modeling for your kids how to have real conversations with actual human beings. I'm not saying don't use text. I love texting. I think it's great. But at some point in time, it's pretty amazing to sit down and have a face-to-face, heart-to-heart conversation with your spouse, with a girlfriend, with your kids. There's nothing like those wonderful hugs, and I'm so grateful that both my kids are huggy and affectionate, and so is my husband. So, make sure you're modeling for them what it looks like to get some real time. I don't think you're ever going to get to apply for a job over text, so you got to prepare them for what real life is going to be like. Have a great day. I hope it warms up soon. We get some sunshine back, and I will be back either later today or tomorrow with another adventure in Heartwise Parenting. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan with North Texas Kids Magazine. If you're interested in learning more about being a parent coach, we actually have a fast track training program coming up in July here in the Dallas area. If you want to know more, visit the academyforcoachingparents.com or give me a call. You can find all my contact information at northtexaskids.com. Make it a great parenting day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.